Decentralized exchanges are taking over. Just a few years ago, centralized platforms dominated crypto trading, but today, traders are moving towards self-custody, lower fees, and faster execution, and that's where Hyperliquid is leading the charge. Right now, Hyperliquid is seeing over 5 billion in daily trading volume, outpacing many centralized competitors. And in February 2025, they launched 3 major updates: HyperEVM, HyperUnit, and the Ecosystem Fund. These upgrades are setting new standards for on-chain trading, cross-chain liquidity, and developer incentives. If you followed my channel, you know I've covered how to use Hyperliquid before, but today, we're breaking down why these latest upgrades could reshape the future of trading. My name is Danilo, and in this video, I'll cover how Hyperliquid is making DEXs just as powerful as centralized exchanges, and what this means for traders like you. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future updates. Alright, let's get into it. For years, centralized exchanges or CEXs ruled crypto trading. Platforms like Binance, Coinbase, and FTX controlled most of the market, offering deep liquidity, fast execution, and easy onboarding. But behind the scenes, trust was the only thing holding them together. Then, in 2022, that trust was shattered. FTX collapsed overnight, wiping out billions in user funds. Binance came under fire, eventually agreeing to a $4.3 billion legal settlement with regulators. Coinbase is still locked in a legal battle with the SEC. Suddenly, traders were forced to ask a critical question. Do I really trust these platforms with my money? The response was a massive shift towards self-custody. DEXs, which were once seen as slow and inefficient, started gaining serious traction. In just the past year, they've seen over 150 billion in monthly trading volume, with that number climbing as more traders seek decentralized alternatives. But here's the one big problem. Most DEXs weren't designed for pro traders. Traditional decentralized platforms rely on automated market makers, or AMMs, which are great for simple swaps but lack the speed, precision, and deep liquidity that serious traders need. This is where Hyperliquid changes the game. Unlike other DEXs, it operates with a fully on-chain order book, combining the speed and efficiency of Binance with the trustlessness of DeFi. It offers deep liquidity, sub-second execution, and zero gas fees, all without requiring traders to give up custody of their assets. The shift is clear then. As trust in centralized exchanges continues to fade, on-chain trading is becoming the future of crypto. And with Hyperliquid leading the charge, it's proving that DEXs aren't just an alternative anymore. They're the evolution of trading. One of the biggest limitations of most decentralized trading platforms is programmability. They offer fast execution and deep liquidity, but lack the flexibility to support smart contracts and DeFi applications. Hyperliquid is solving this problem with Hyperliquid EVM, an Ethereum-compatible execution layer integrated directly into its Layer 1 blockchain. Unlike traditional Layer 2s like Arbitrum and Optimism, which operate as rollups on Ethereum, HyperEVM isn't a separate blockchain. It's fully embedded into Hyperliquid's Layer 1, running under the same HyperBFT consensus mechanism. This means that smart contracts deployed on HyperEVM can interact natively with Hyperliquid's order book, perpetual markets, and other trading infrastructure without relying on fragmented bridges or external networks. HyperEVM allows developers to deploy Ethereum-based smart contracts within the Hyperliquid ecosystem, unlocking entirely new possibilities. Instead of Hyperliquid being just a trading platform, it can now support DeFi protocols, automated trading bots, lending markets, and structured financial products, all built directly on HyperEVM. A major advantage of HyperEVM's design is its seamless integration with Hyperliquid's trading engine. This eliminates the bottlenecks that other chains face when executing high-frequency transactions, as everything runs within the same network state. Developers can create smart contracts that tap into Hyperliquid's deep liquidity pools, reducing slippage and improving trade execution for users. Another key benefit is that HyperEVM transactions are gas efficient, with Hype serving as the native token for executing transactions. This provides a cost-effective and scalable way to interact with smart contracts compared to Ethereum's often expensive gas fees. But HyperEVM isn't just about cost savings. It's about expanding what's possible within a trading ecosystem. By combining EVM programmability with Hyperliquid's fast execution and deep liquidity, the platform is setting itself up as more than just an exchange. It's a full-stack decentralized financial system. With HyperEVM now live, Hyperliquid is opening the door for developers, traders, and liquidity providers to interact in ways that simply weren't possible before. One of the biggest challenges in decentralized trading is asset availability. Most trading platforms, both centralized and decentralized, limit users to trading only the assets that are natively supported on that network. This creates liquidity silos, fragmented markets, and fewer trading opportunities. Hyperliquid is solving this problem with HyperUnit, a protocol that allows non-native assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana to be seamlessly used within its ecosystem. Instead of being restricted to trading only Hyperliquid native tokens, users can now bring in assets from other chains and trade them directly on Hyperliquid's order book. At a high level, HyperUnit acts as a bridge, enabling users to deposit assets from external blockchains and access Hyperliquid's liquidity and trading tools. This means traders no longer have to move funds between multiple platforms just to execute their strategies. Everything, from perpetual trading to on-chain DeFi applications, can now be done within a single ecosystem. The biggest advantage of this approach is that it unlocks deeper liquidity across multiple different assets. Most decentralized exchanges struggle with thin order books and high slippage, but by bringing in assets from major chains like Ethereum and Solana, HyperUnit ensures that traders get better pricing and more efficient execution. Another important impact of HyperUnit is that it expands the use cases for Hyperliquid beyond trading. Since external assets can now enter the ecosystem, developers and liquidity providers can build new financial products on HyperEVM that utilize these assets in innovative ways. Whether it's structured products, on-chain derivatives, or yield-generating strategies, Hyperliquid is positioning itself as a true multi-asset trading hub. By integrating external assets, Hyperliquid is removing the barriers that have traditionally separated different trading ecosystems. Instead of bouncing between multiple different platforms to execute trades, traders can now access everything in one place, without sacrificing decentralization, security, or liquidity. With HyperUnit now live, Hyperliquid is well on its way to becoming a full-spectrum trading platform, capable of competing with both centralized and decentralized exchanges. Building a successful trading platform isn't just about technology. It requires a thriving community of traders, developers, and liquidity providers. Unlike many projects that rely on venture capital or short-term incentives, Hyperliquid has taken a self-funded, community-first approach, ensuring that the platform grows in alignment with its users. At the core of this strategy is the Hype token, Hyperliquid's native coin, which is designed to reward and engage the community. Instead of following the typical model where exchanges take profits and distribute them to insiders, Hyperliquid is doing things differently. 70% of the platform's tokens are allocated directly to users. This means that traders, liquidity providers, and developers all benefit from the platform's growth. For traders, this model creates real incentives for participation. Active users can earn fee reductions, trading rewards, and exclusive benefits based on their volume and engagement. Rather than relying on inflationary token rewards that dry up over time, Hyperliquid's approach ensures that those who contribute to the ecosystem are consistently rewarded. For developers, Hype serves as both a governance and staking token. As HyperEVM expands, builders can deploy Ethereum-compatible dApps that tap into Hyperliquid's liquidity. Holding and staking Hype provides governance rights, allowing developers and community members to have a direct say in the platform's evolution. Beyond the incentives, Hyperliquid's governance model is evolving. While it's not yet fully decentralized, the long-term vision is to transition to a model where users and stakeholders help shape the platform's direction. This means that over time, the community will have a greater role in deciding protocol upgrades, new features, and incentive structures. By prioritizing community-driven growth and sustainable incentives, Hyperliquid is proving that an exchange doesn't need to rely on VC funding or short-term farming strategies to succeed. With HyperEVM bringing smart contract programmability, HyperUnit expanding asset availability, and Hype aligning all of the incentives, Hyperliquid is positioning itself as a true next-generation decentralized trading platform. The crypto trading landscape is shifting fast. For years, centralized exchanges like Binance and Bybit dominated, offering deep liquidity, fast execution, and seamless user experiences. But after the collapse of FTX, increasing regulatory scrutiny, and growing concerns over custodial risks, traders are looking for safer, more transparent alternatives. This is fueling the rise of decentralized trading platforms. By running on its own high-performance Layer 1 blockchain, Hyperliquid has removed many of the bottlenecks that traditional DEXs face. It supports a fully on-chain order book with real-time execution, deep liquidity, and near-instant trading, all without requiring users to give up custody of their assets. Unlike Ethereum-based DEXs that struggle with gas fees and congestion, Hyperliquid's infrastructure is designed for high-frequency trading, making it one of the fastest decentralized platforms available. But speed alone isn't enough. Hyperliquid is also expanding what's possible with on-chain trading. With HyperEVM, developers can build Ethereum-compatible smart contracts directly into Hyperliquid's ecosystem, unlocking a new wave of DeFi applications. HyperUnit, on the other hand, bridges external assets like Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana onto the platform, ensuring that traders have access to a wide range of assets without being limited to Hyperliquid's native ecosystem. This evolution is setting the stage for a future where DEXs don't just compete with centralized exchanges, they might even completely replace them. Instead of trusting third-party custodians, traders can interact with a fully decentralized high-speed trading environment that offers deep liquidity and complex trading strategies, all on the chain. Of course, challenges remain. Platforms like Uniswap and Jupiter have already established strong user bases, and centralized exchanges aren't disappearing overnight. The real question is how quickly traders will migrate to decentralized platforms and whether Hyperliquid can maintain its current momentum as adoption grows. Ultimately, the future of trading is heading towards decentralization. As more traders prioritize security, self-custody, and composability, platforms that deliver speed, liquidity, and seamless execution will define the next era of crypto markets. Hyperliquid is making a strong case that on-chain trading isn't just an alternative, it's the evolution of the entire market. Decentralized trading isn't just catching up. It's proving that it can outperform centralized exchanges while giving traders full control over their assets. Hyperliquid is leading the shift, combining CEX-level performance with this trustlessness of DeFi. With HyperEVM enabling high-speed on-chain trading, HyperUnit bringing in external assets, and the community-driven ecosystem funding fueling adoption, Hyperliquid is positioning itself as a true alternative to Binance and Bybit. The question now is, will traders make the switch? As liquidity deepens and more traders adopt on-chain platforms, the future of trading is moving towards decentralization. The infrastructure is here, and platforms like Hyperliquid are proving that speed, security, and liquidity don't have to be compromised for self-custody. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future deep dives into DeFi and trading trends. And let me know down in the comments, do you think Hyperliquid has what it takes to challenge the big centralized exchanges? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.